Elon Musk was born on June 28, 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa. His family had money, but his childhood was not always happy. From a very young age, Elon was a quiet boy who loved to read. He would read books for up to 10 hours a day. He read science fiction, fantasy, and even read the entire encyclopedia from start to finish. Because he lived in his own world of big ideas, other children thought he was strange. Life in South Africa was very hard for young Elon. At school, he was the youngest and smallest boy in his class, and he was bullied terribly. In one very sad incident, a group of boys pushed him down a flight of concrete stairs and beat him until he had to go to the hospital. At home, his parents divorced when he was 9. He chose to live with his father, Errol, but he later regretted this because his father was very strict and emotionally harsh. To escape the sadness of his real life, Elon turned to computers. When he was just 10 years old, he got a Commodore VIC-20 computer. It came with a manual that normally took adults 6 months to finish, but Elon stayed awake and read it in just 3 days. He taught himself how to write computer code. For Elon, a computer was something that made sense and followed the rules, unlike the messy world around him. When he was 12 years old, Elon used his coding skills to create a space-themed video game. He named the game Blaster. He sent the code to a computer magazine, and they paid him $500 for it. This was his very first taste of business success. Even as a young boy, his mind was focused on outer space, aliens, and technology. He knew he wanted to do bigger things than just stay in his hometown. As Elon grew into a teenager, he faced a big problem. South Africa had a strict rule that all young white men had to join the military. The country was under the racist system of apartheid, and Elon did not want to be part of that army. In 1989, when he was 17, he used his mother's Canadian citizenship to get a Canadian passport. He packed his bags and left South Africa by himself, dreaming of eventually reaching the United States. When Elon arrived in Canada, he had very little money. He stayed with relatives and had to work very hard, dirty jobs to survive. He worked on a farm shoveling grain. He also got a job at a lumber mill where he had to put on a heavy suit and crawl into a dark, steaming hot boiler room to shovel dirt. It was dangerous and exhausting work, but it taught him how to push through physical pain. In 1990, Elon started college in Canada at Queen's University. After 2 years, his dream came true, and he transferred to the University of Pennsylvania in the United States. He studied physics and economics. College in America was very expensive. To pay for his tuition, Elon and a friend rented a large, cheap 10-bedroom house and turned it into a nightclub for other students on the weekends. He was always finding creative ways to make money. In 1995, Elon was accepted to Stanford University in California to get an advanced degree in science. But after just 2 days, he dropped out. He saw that the internet was growing incredibly fast and he wanted to build something on it. He and his brother Kimball started a company called Zip2. It was an online city guide that helped newspapers put maps and business directions on the internet. This was long before Google Maps ever existed. The early days of Zip2 were brutal. Elon and Kimball had almost no money. They rented a tiny office and slept on futons on the floor. They took showers at a local YMCA. Elon had only one computer. He would keep the website online for people to use during the day, and then he would write new code for the website all night long. He worked 7 days a week without a break. All that hard work finally paid off. In 1999, a massive computer company called Compaq bought Zip2 for over $300 million. Elon owned 7% of the company, so he received $22 million. At only 27 years old, the boy who had shoveled dirt in a boiler room was now a multi-millionaire. He bought a fast sports car, but instead of retiring to a beach, he decided to start an even bigger company. Elon believed that the banking industry was slow and old, so he took his new millions and started X.com, an online bank.
That X is pursuing, it's the biggest sector of the world economy.
People thought putting credit card information on the internet was crazy and dangerous. Soon, X.com merged with a rival company to create PayPal. PayPal made it extremely easy to email money to anyone in the world. However, the business partners argued, and Elon was eventually fired from being the CEO, even though he still owned the most shares. Even though Elon was no longer the boss, PayPal became a massive success. In 2002, the huge online store eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion. Because Elon owned the most shares, he walked away with about $175 million. With this incredible amount of money, Elon could have lived a life of luxury forever.
Struck a deal with eBay to sell a company to eBay.
But his mind went back to the science fiction books he read as a child. He wanted to save the future of humanity. Elon looked at the stars and worried that if something terrible happened to Earth, humans might go extinct. He wanted to help humans travel to Mars.
Elon Musk now wants to colonize Mars.
He went to Russia to buy rockets, but they were too expensive. So, in 2002, he used his own money to start SpaceX. His goal was to build his own rockets that were much cheaper and more reliable, completely changing how space travel worked. Space was not his only focus. Elon also wanted to stop the world from using fossil fuels that harm the planet. In 2004, he invested millions of dollars into a tiny, struggling electric car company called Tesla. Back then, electric cars were slow, ugly, and had terrible batteries. Elon became the leader of Tesla and wanted to prove that electric cars could be fast, beautiful, and better than gas-powered cars. By the year 2008, Elon's life was completely falling apart. SpaceX had tried to launch 3 rockets, and all 3 of them had exploded or failed. He was running out of money fast. At the exact same time, the world economy crashed, and Tesla was running out of cash and facing bankruptcy. To make it worse, his marriage was ending in a painful divorce. Elon had to make a heartbreaking choice. He only had a little bit of money left. He could save one company and let the other die, or split the money and risk losing both. He decided to split his last few $1 million between SpaceX and Tesla. If the 4th rocket launch failed, SpaceX would be dead forever. If he couldn't find more investors, Tesla would close its doors in days. Then a miracle happened. In late 2008, SpaceX launched its 4th rocket, the Falcon 1. It flew perfectly into space.
Oh my God! What? Holy smokes, man.
It was the first privately built liquid-fueled rocket to ever reach orbit. Because of this massive success, NASA called Elon and gave SpaceX a $1.6 billion contract to fly supplies to the International Space Station. SpaceX was saved from the brink of death.
NASA called and told us that we'd won a $1.5 billion contract.
Just a few days later, on Christmas Eve, Tesla found the investors it needed to survive. Tesla went on to create the Model S, a beautiful luxury family car that drove as fast as a sports car. It completely shocked the world and won every major car award. It proved to everyone that electric vehicles were the future. The company grew rapidly, eventually becoming the most valuable car company in the entire world. Over the next decade, SpaceX did something the world thought was impossible. They built rockets that could fly to space, deliver cargo, come back down, and land standing perfectly straight up. Before this, rockets were thrown away into the ocean after just one use. By reusing rockets, Elon made space travel incredibly cheap. SpaceX became the most powerful space company on the planet. Elon's vision kept expanding. He wanted to solve every big problem humans faced. He helped start Solar City to put solar panels on roofs to catch the sun's energy. He started a company called The Boring Company to dig high-speed tunnels deep under cities to fix terrible traffic jams. He worked non-stop, running multiple companies at the same time and sleeping on the factory floors when things got tough. In 2016, Elon founded Neuralink, a neurotechnology company. The goal of Neuralink is to create tiny computer chips that can be safely planted into the human brain. This sounds like science fiction, but the goal is very real: to cure brain diseases, help paralyzed people control computers with their minds, and eventually allow humans to merge with artificial intelligence. In 2022, Elon made one of his most controversial moves.
Elon Musk officially buys Twitter for $44 billion.
He bought the giant social media platform Twitter for $44 billion. He said he bought it to protect free speech for humanity. He completely changed the company, fired thousands of workers to cut costs, and renamed the app X. He wanted to turn it into an everything app where people could talk, watch videos, and manage their money. As artificial intelligence became a huge deal in the 2020s, Elon started a new company called xAI to build safe AI systems. His AI, named Grok, was built directly into the X platform. By 2024 and 25, Elon also became heavily involved in United States politics. He supported Donald Trump's presidential campaign and even joined the government for a short time to lead a department called DOGE, which aimed to make the government more efficient. Because of his relentless drive, his wealth grew to unbelievable levels. By June 2026, driven by a massive $1 trillion pay package from Tesla and the incredible success of SpaceX and his other ventures, his net worth crossed $1.3 trillion. He officially became the first and only trillionaire in US dollars in human history. The boy who was once beaten up on the playground had built an empire larger than many countries. Today, even as a trillionaire, Elon Musk does not sit on a private beach or take long vacations. He still works day and night. For him, money was never the end goal. It was only a tool. His ultimate mission remains exactly the same as when he was a lonely boy reading science fiction books: to build a self-sustaining city on Mars, make humanity a multi-planetary species, and protect the light of human consciousness.